to the On the Horizon podcast, buying and selling businesses, brought to you by Horizon Business Brokers, your trusted guide to buying, selling, and valuing businesses. Your next opportunity is just on the horizon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode numero uno of the On the Horizon podcast. I am your co-host, Jeremy Wolf, joined by none other than your host, Dustin Zeher. Well, I want to get the pronunciation right. Is it Zeher or Zeher? Or none of the above? And like clockwork, we glitch out as soon as we hit record. Dustin? Come on, baby. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies.
Welcome to the On the Horizon podcast, buying and selling businesses, brought to you by Horizon Business Brokers, your trusted guide to buying, selling, and valuing businesses. Your next opportunity is just on the horizon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode numero uno of On the Horizon. I am your co-host, Jeremy Wolf, and I'm joined by none other than your host, Dustin Zeher. Dustin, good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too, Jeremy.
Yes. So excited to get into this, and as I always like to do, I think on this first episode, it would make a lot of sense to take a look under the hood and get to know what you do through Horizon Business Brokers and really your professional and your kind of journey, what landed you here today. So why don't we start there? Tell our listeners a little bit about your business, Horizon Business Brokers.
Sure. So Horizon Business Brokers is a full service business brokerage and M&A firm. We are serving the greater DC metro area. We can work nationally as well, about 16 or 17 states that require a specific license. But what we do is we really help business owners understand how their businesses is valued and to help them exit, right? So we're working with all different types and sizes of businesses. Our ideal client is typically generating somewhere between $1 and $10 million in revenue. And they're generally in the professional business services space, white collar services or blue collar services. So blue collar would be a lot of like HVAC and plumbing, electrical, home improvement contractors, and things like that. On the white collar side, think of your accountants and bookkeepers and IT service firms, government contractors, and such. We're helping guide them from the beginning and helping them understand how a business like theirs is valued, doing a business valuation for them to give them the most accurate market value for their business, and then confidentially bringing them to market. And we take care of all the marketing and advertising materials, all the marketing and advertising efforts, helping find buyers, qualify the buyers, and help negotiate and facilitate the sale to close. We have a wide network of accountants and attorneys and wealth advisors and lenders that we work with to be able to help both the buyer and seller navigate through the process.
Yeah, I could imagine that it would be important to have a trusted network. Like the sale of your business is obviously a complicated transaction, and it's not something that happens overnight. So you having access to accountants, attorneys, lenders, oh my God, lost my train of thought there, but that would probably be instrumental to you doing what you do. Right.
It is. I mean, you got to have a strong deal support team. You can't have a divorce attorney that the seller knows handling the sale of their business. They don't know the nuances and intricacies of getting through a small business sale. So you need to make sure that you're working with experienced professionals to make sure that you're well protected, whether you're on the buy side or the sell side.
I gained my train of thought. I was looking for venture capitalists, right? When you're talking about lenders and you're trying to raise capital, you have to also have that in your network. So I want to go back though. Most kids, when they're growing up, they have aspirations to maybe be a doctor, be a lawyer, maybe a professional athlete. I don't imagine there's many kids at a young age. Maybe there's some that are thinking, when I grow up, I want to buy and sell businesses, right? I want to be a business broker. So what does your journey look like? How did you get into this business? Is this something that you went to school for specifically in college? Like you were always into business? Talk a little bit about your journey that led you to where you're at today.
Sure. Yeah. So I think my entrepreneurial aspiration started early in life, right? So, by the time I was, somewhere around 10, 11 years old, I was shoveling snow and mowing grass in the neighborhood, trying to do anything I could to earn money to, buy things that I wanted, right? As I grew older, I always had an interest and passion for, small business and entrepreneurship. There was times where I wanted to be an attorney or a banker, or thought about being in the real estate industry. I ended up going to school for business management and administration, took some marketing and advertising and some business law classes, and definitely felt like I was in my element. And I stumbled across business brokerage. My dad's childhood friend was a business broker in upstate New York, and we had a chat, and I was like, you know what, this is very interesting. It kind of checked all the boxes of like marketing, advertising, real estate, law, and business overall. So it's like, okay, well, let me give it a shot and see if I like it. So I started with a company out of Maryland, worked with them for about a year, long enough to learn the ropes. And
that was right out of school, right out of college. You went to work for a business brokerage.
Yeah, sorry. So as I was studying business management administration, I was working part-time in the restaurant industry. So I have a fair amount of experience there. But so I started my business brokerage career in 2005. I was actually 21, still going to school. I had a couple best friends actually die within a month to the day of each other. So kind of sidetracked my schooling path. And, but I started the business brokerage, and I was enjoying it, and I was getting some traction and got some listings. And so I ended up putting schooling aside and did focus 100% on my business brokerage firm. So 2006 is actually when I launched my firm, and it was me, myself, and I until 2010. That's when we actually first launched a website. So prior to that, it was just a lot of grassroots marketing. And but in 2010, we launched our first website. I started bringing on some associate brokers to work with me, try to do some more deals. And we've had as many as 10 or 12 agents at one time. We now have 4 others, including myself, full-time marketing director and admin assistant as well. So we have a small but mighty team to help our clients.
Very cool. What would you say, looking back through you've been doing this pretty much right out of school. So this has been, it sounds like you started Horizon pretty much straight away. What has been one of the most rewarding things about working in this industry?
Really, honestly, it's been helping people achieve their goals and dreams and aspirations of being a business owner themselves, or helping them achieve the fruits of their labor, from the past 5, 10 years, or however long it was that they were operating their business, and helping them exit and move on to their next chapter in their life, whether that's buying or starting another business, or if it's retirement. So just bringing the joy to those people to move on to their next venture really brings me great pride and joy. And every day is different. So always talking with different business owners and learning about their trials and tribulations and things that they did right and wrong, which I've personally learned from and have implemented into my own business. And some of them worked and some of them didn't. So it's you never know unless you try.
It's an interesting perspective that you glean in doing what you do as a business owner, right? You get to watch all these different types of businesses and pick up, like you said, things they've done right, things they've done wrong, and then implement that into your own business. it's funny. I've talked to Russell at length about this. Like, if you worked your whole life and built your business over 3 decades, 4 decades, I mean, that's like your baby, right? Like selling that business is such a personal, such an integral thing. It's important to have a good team in place. And I really didn't know before I connected with Russell. I didn't really have much background on this, but I've learned a lot about what you do. And it's really, really fascinating to me. On the other side of that, right? So there's a lot of reward, obviously, with running a business and interacting and seeing the triumphs of your clients. What would you say is one of the most challenging things that you've faced throughout your journey owning a business in general, and then this specific business?
Sure. So the most challenging was probably, in my earlier years. Like I said, I was 21, and this industry is dominated by, older males that are in their, 50s and 60s. So getting the respect and opportunity from, your business owner community, generally older. So here I was, 21, no gray hair in sight. I have plenty now. But it was kind of a curse and a blessing at the same time. Some people just weren't really receptive to working with the new young business broker in town. But some were willing to kind of provide the opportunity, because it was like, hey, this guy is young, he's hungry, he's trying to establish a name for himself. He's probably not going to do me dirty. He's going to do a good job because he's trying to establish himself and create a good brand reputation in the marketplace. So aside from that, I think the daily struggle as a business broker and M&A advisor is interacting with sellers that don't know what they don't know, and they have unrealistic expectations of what their business is worth, right? So, as you said, if you've been a business owner for 10, 20, 30 years and you put in your blood, sweat, and tears into this business, and then you're ready to sell it, and you're like, gosh, man, I know my business has got to be worth $1 million. That's what I want to sell it for. And then they come talk to me, and
might not be the case.
Yeah. It may not be the case, right? So, then we're the bad guy in some respect, but I try to really from there help educate, the client, and help them understand like why their business is only worth, half of what they thought it was. And what if they're trying to get to this $1 million number, then here are some things that you could do to help grow your business, whether that's your revenue or your margins to generate a higher cash flow, because that's ultimately where the value is derived, is from the cash flow that the business generates typically. So just that's one of the biggest challenges. But I think after we go through the process and we do the valuation for them, they come around and they understand, and whether they're ready at that moment to take the leap to sell their business is maybe another conversation. Maybe they have to implement some things, or maybe they're okay and ready to go.
So brings us here where we're at today. We're here doing this podcast. What's the inspiration behind this podcast, On the Horizon, right? What are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish through this? What does that look like for you?
So first and foremost, I want to educate the general public, that are looking to buy or sell a business, right? Again, they don't know what they don't know. I've been doing this for 20 years. We've seen a lot. We've worked with so many different types and sizes of businesses, and they're all valued differently, but on the same principles, right? So helping the aspiring entrepreneur or the exiting seller, again, gain knowledge to set themselves up for a better future, purchase or sale. And then, of course, I just want to get out there and have a podcast like everybody else. I mean, that's the cool thing to do, right?
All the cool kids are doing it, Dustin. So obviously you deal with a lot of business owners. You get a lot of different perspectives. What is maybe one of the biggest mistakes that you see from business owners that are preparing to sell? I'm sure there's a common theme there, some thread there that comes up more than other scenarios.
So there's a couple for sure. First and foremost is not having books and records that are representative of the true, financial performance of the business, right? Mm-hmm. So, small businesses are known to be tax shelters to help, lower your taxable income. But some business owners take, extreme liberties in how they might run their finances. So imagine if you are in a cash business and you receive, maybe tens of thousands of dollars in revenue, but that cash is never deposited into the bank. Well, every seller wants to try to get that value out of their business, but it's darn near impossible because it's cash and you can't prove it, right?
Yeah, and you're thinking about, as you're getting the cash and you're not depositing it, you're thinking it's to your advantage, but actually it's detrimental to the value of your business when you go to sell it later. Yeah, people have a problem thinking into the future, right? They only think in the present moment. So it's important to take that whole picture into account because it will have a huge impact on the end product, obviously.
Yeah. No, 100%. So just like a quick kind of general rule of thumb, right? So let's just say you deposited $10,000 into, or you received $10,000 in cash, okay? And you didn't deposit it into the bank. So in the tax world, you might have saved, let's call it 25 or 30%, okay, in a tax liability off of that $10,000, right? So it's $2,500 to $3,000 that you're not paying Uncle Sam, but that $10,000 that would have hit your bottom line is going to typically represent, $20,000 to $30,000 in value that you just basically, for the lack of better words, kind of screwed yourself out of, right? So don't do that. Okay. So that's like the biggest item is making sure you have clean books and records. It's okay that you use your business as a tax shelter and maybe having your personal cell phone or vehicles or whatever you do, to help lower your tax liability. But make sure that it's clearly documented in your tax returns and it's not in your cost of goods sold. That's a line item that no lender will extrapolate from. Okay. So, that's extremely important. The other thing is when that seller is so involved in the day-to-day operations and the success and performance of that business because they hold, personal relationships with vendors or clients, that's helping generate those revenues. If they remove themselves from that equation, then there's a higher, level of risk for the buyer because that seller holds so much institutional knowledge that's hard to transfer to the buyer in your typical, transitional training and support period, right?
Well, so I was going to say, in many cases, in some transactions, I've spoken to Russell about this, the seller stays on in some way in either an advisory type role or it's something kind of baked into the contract that they're supposed to stay on for a certain period of time, right?
Yep. So you do typically have transitional training and support periods in any transaction. It depends on the buyer's experience in the industry as to maybe how long they would require that seller to stay. But generally speaking, it's typically somewhere between 30 and 90 days. And after that period, the owner or seller should be, in a paid, position if they're going to be, typically staying on, post that 30 or 90 days, whatever might be typical for that industry.
Got it. All right. So I want to shift for a second. I want to go a little personal here and get to know you a little bit better on the personal front. What's one thing that people might be surprised to learn about you, Dustin?
Let's see. So I'm still a kid at heart. I'm 41.
Aren't we all?
I have two boys, 11 and 9. And one of the things that we like to do together helps me de-stress is we play a lot of Lego together. It was my favorite pastime as a kid. It helps me mellow out and helps me kind of interact and engage with my kids and we have fun. And I am an extreme hockey fan. So go Caps here in Washington, D.C. My son plays ice hockey, my older son, that's 11. I've been coaching or an assistant coach for his team for the past couple of seasons. They also play soccer, and I've coached their soccer league as well. So a little bit about me and what we like to do as a family.
So 11 and 9, your 11-year-old, did he start middle school yet, or is he still in finishing elementary?
Yep, he is finishing 5th grade this year, yes.
Finishing. Okay, so my son is finishing 5th grade, and my daughter is a little ahead. She's in middle school right now. So get excited for what's coming in middle school. It's been an interesting journey thus far. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't wait. 5th grade has already been a little difficult. So anyway.
Strap in, my man. Strap in. What would be, if you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Good question. Don't give up. Know your worth, and just strive to be better every day.
Yes. Love it. Love it. Any final words or piece of advice? And we're just scratching the surface here. We're going to get into in future episodes. We're going to really dig into more specific topics and really kind of get into the weeds. So right now we're just kind of like I said, scratching the surface. But what would be one piece of advice or some final last words for a business owner out there that's listening that might be at that point in their life? They're in the honeymoon phase. They're looking to sell their business. What would you leave them with?
Have a plan. All right. A lot of business owners go into business with really no plan to exit. It's just, I'm going to go into business and I'm going to be successful and I'm going to make money. And, one day maybe we'll, figure out what the next step is. Right. So when you go into business, have an exit plan in mind and talk to a professional like myself, or maybe, an M&A attorney, so you can really familiarize yourself kind of what the landscape and the process looks like. So you're not blindsided when you have that unfortunate circumstance or an event where you have health issues that force you to sell, or maybe a move that you weren't expecting that is going to cause you to sell your business. And then you're running around in a frenzy trying to get all your ducks in a row. Right. So, and also put yourself in the buyer's shoes, right? So like if you're going to be buying a business, set yourself up for success as you're operating your business for what buyers are going to look for. And those things are clean financials, policies and procedures, and an organization structure that doesn't put all of the day-to-day operations and your key or core client and vendor relationships on the back of the seller, because just those things make it easier for a buyer to purchase and transition, and you're going to get the most value out of your business. Yep.
I like that. Look at it from the lens of, if you were trying to buy your own business, what would that look like? If you were trying to buy a business, often many things are resolved favorably through perspective and looking through others' perspective. That's one of the things I've learned as I've gotten older. I've gotten a lot better at putting my own confirmation biases aside and really trying to sit in other people's shoes and understand where they're coming from. And when you do that, everything seems to work out for the best. So
agreed.
Good stuff. All right. Well, let's leave it at that. Everyone, thanks so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you join us on this journey and dive into deeper topics. If you're watching this, if you've sold a business, if you currently own a business, if you've had any interesting stories, any things that have come up in your world, leave it in the comments below, and we can talk about these things on future episodes. So with that, I will leave everyone. Have a wonderful day. Take care, and we will catch everyone next time on the Horizon. Everyone take care.
That wraps up this episode of On the Horizon podcast, Buying and Selling Businesses, brought to you by Horizon Business Brokers. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone ready to take their next step. For more resources and personalized support, visit www.horizonbrokers.com or call 703-910-7384. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time on The Horizon, where buying and selling businesses creates opportunity.